just keep going. I don't know where it came from, but just keep going. Like literally just get started, fail fast. I mean, there's a bunch of mantras apparently, but but literally, like just keep going. Like this, like when you hear, especially when you're with a podcast, it's gonna suck. The first episodes, I'm sure of yours were like, oh, this is brutal, but still publish it, put it out there. Then people are gonna listen to it and cringe. But the next one out, it's gonna be better, less cringeable, more bingeable, more cringeable, less cringeable, more bingeable. It's never. But honestly, just keep going and just have fun with it.
Step into the world of success with Your Brand Amplified, the ultimate podcast designed to unravel the intricacies of thriving businesses. I'm your host, Annika Jackson, and I'm on a mission to uncover the stories, strategies, and secrets that have propelled entrepreneurs and business leaders to success. I wish I'd been recording our pre-conversation because I think it would have been a really fun intro or segue or something into this episode that I'm doing with Seth Goldstein, who has a podcast that's been around for about 14 years, Entrepreneur's Enigma.
No, I've been podcasting for 14, 15 years. But the podcast has been around since the middle of the pandemic.
Okay.
But there's been like 6, 7, 8 podcasts during this 15 years. So I've been doing it for a while. Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that, but you have such a great background in everything comms. Digital media. You have an agency, and we were talking about the Philly connection as well.
Yeah, go Philly. Philly's a weird city. It's like Austin. It's weird, but it's a fun weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on where you are in Philly, but it usually is a fun weird. So.
And loyal. People are really loyal.
Oh, very loyal. Very loyal. They're loyal to their... I mean, there's not really a fair weather fan thing for Philly sports. I mean, we'll curse them out. We'll throw things at them. We're bad fans, but we are loyal. Like we will stick by our teams when they suck. I mean, the Sixers, I don't think they have won anything anytime soon. So go figure.
Well, let's talk about you, Seth.
Oh, okay.
You started out as a journalist. Did you always know that you wanted to write, report?
Everyone else knew. Everyone else knew I was going to be and everyone else knew I was going to be a web designer. Everyone knew my path before I did. Because in high school, I started the school paper.
Okay.
And so people were like, oh, I used to be a journalist. But I wanted to do, but in high school, I also got into web design. So people were like, oh, maybe I'll do web design. So I went off to the University of Delaware in 2000. Yeah, I'm that old. In 2000. And decided that I needed to learn how to write to get a job in advertising. Because back then, digital marketing and all that stuff didn't exist. So I was like, okay, let me get into the journalism school. Let me learn how to do that. Talked to now President Biden on the phone once when he was a senator. Got hooked. I was like, this is awesome. I mean, it might have helped that he's a nice guy and all that. He didn't curse me out or anything like that. He did call me man once. He's like, how's it going, man? And then that's when I knew I made it. When you get called man by the man, it's kind of cool. Really sweet guy, and left Delaware with a history and journalism degree with minors in anthropology and political science. So the only thing I could actually get out of it was either be a history teacher or a journalist. I mean, obviously I could do anything I wanted, but getting an ROI on my education, I wanted to do something with something I did. So I was like, all right, let me get into the journalism world. Worked for a few daily papers in the Philadelphia area. Worked out in South Central Pennsylvania for a little while, where there's literally more cows than humans. It's documented, and it's known that there's more cows than humans, and it smells like it too. So I did a story on it. A lot of stories, action scenes, and then the normal stuff. I also did some really fun ones. Like I did one where a donkey did arithmetic.
Oh.
Yeah, that's when you know you've made it in journalism. When you work in such a small paper that on a Sunday you go out to the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, to cover a counting donkey. Yes. Or it might have been a pygmy. It might have been a pygmy horse. Either way, it was a horse-like animal. And that was I was like, oh, I made it, I guess, in journalism because I'm doing this kind of story. I'm paying my dues. But then after 6 years of that, I burned out massively. It was a lot of long nights, not enough pay. Like firefighters, police officers, army people, military, they get counseling when they see nasty things. We don't. Mm-hmm. We got to internalize it and just kind of roll with it. And then it comes back and bites you the backside. So, 16 years of very minor PTSD from that job. Kicked it finally. I mean, for the life of me, I still to this day can't watch Chicago Fire.
Oh,
I mean, I will actually smell the fire that's on the TV. It's so bizarre. I'll walk by. My wife loves the show, ironically, and so I'll walk by the TV. I'll be like, is something burning? She's like, no, I'm watching Chicago Fire. I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, because my brain, it's amazing what the subconscious can bring up.
That's such an
So
interesting
weird.
point because now one of the conversations you hear is how AI is taking over parts of journalism and all of marketing, right? But then
Yeah,
also,
supposedly. Yeah.
supposedly, yes. But then also the folks who are hired at a low pay grade, often in foreign countries from the US,
Oh, it's horrible jobs.
who are labeling, and categorizing AI, they also are getting PTSD because
All
of
the
stuff
stuff
that they
they're
have.
seeing is stuff. Yeah, the stuff we're not seeing. And the stuff gets through. And we see some pretty nasty stuff. Can you imagine that times like 100,000? I mean, like they're seeing horrible stuff. Horrible. That's a word. I'll make that a word. Horrible. It's so worse than horrible. It's horrible. But yeah, the whole idea. They have such a thankless job for keeping the internet safe. They're like the police of the internet, and it's like when something gets through, like how did this get through? It's like, oh my God, they're only humans. So hopefully AI. It's one of those jobs that hopefully AI will get good enough to catch its own stuff. Doubtful, but
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Well, okay, so you burned out. You're like, I just can't do this anymore.
oh yeah, it was massively like that. Yeah.
What was your next step? Did
I
you just,
saw I went into sales for a little bit, decided I don't like selling big construction containers to construction sites. Tried that for a little while. And I was like, my then fiance, my now wife, is like, why? Well, you've been doing websites on the side this whole time. Go back to school, go to the now defunct University of the Arts in Philadelphia. May it rest in peace. They just shut down last May. Big hubbub about that because they just shut down within a week. Everyone's like, what? But then other schools are picking up, Drexel's picking stuff up, Nova's picking people up, students up, and faculty. But I was going back for my web design certificate, not get a master's in it or anything like that. It's like a 9 month class. And it's kind of busted my backside for 9 months getting the certificate, which is a lot. I mean, I learned a lot. I knew a lot already, so it was kind of filling the gaps. Did that, opened the agency to get the experience to get the job.
hmm.
Well, then come to think of it, why am I 16, 17 years into the business? Oops. Much to my wife's chagrin, she's like, you were supposed to get a job. I'm like, well, I'm still doing this and I'm somewhat successful. I mean, like, successful in the eyes of the world, not always successful in the eyes of the pocketbook, different days. I mean, like I'm pretty prolific on LinkedIn. I'm pretty prolific on social media. I'm prolific through the podcast, all that. So people think I'm like wildly successful. And I'm like, say wildly. I can pay my bills most months.
Yeah. Hey, I am there with you. I'm not as prolific as I used to be on socials, but I am a professor. I am a
Yeah.
podcaster. I do speak at conferences.
Yeah.
And so people see that and they do have a perception. And to me, obviously, you were going to be an entrepreneur. You just didn't know
Yeah.
it. And you were
Yeah.
never meant to work for another business.
Oh God, don't would hire me
So,
now. No. No, God, no.
yeah. But that is the tale of the entrepreneur. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. But as long as we keep going,
You just gotta keep your head down,
yeah.
keep going, fail. And honestly, I hate saying this, but fail fast.
Mm.
Or fail really, really slow that you don't know you're failing. What you don't know won't kill you. So
Yeah. But, and you started your podcast shortly after your agency? Or your
2010,
faster?
the podcast thing, I started it back in I think 2010. So that would be about where I'm at now. And I just started. I love the medium. I was listening to This Week in Tech with Leah Laporte since 2005. Wanted to get into it, but I mean, honestly, the technology really didn't get mainstream. I mean, we didn't get the iPhone until 2007. Yeah, so 2009, I started the business. No, 2007, 2008, I started the agency. But 2010, I was like, I can do this podcast thing. Blogs were still the rage. I got into blogging. I like blogging. I'm like, I like this audio thing. When I left journalism, my editor-in-chief of the paper was like, you should go into audio. You should go into radio. And I'm like, have you heard me? I talk too fast and I slur my words. He's like, if you slow down, you have a good voice. And I'm like, all right, whatever you say. Because when you hear yourself on audio, it's always worse than it actually is. And so, but once again, there's a thread through this thing. People see things in me that I don't see. People knew I was going to be a journalist. People knew I was going to be a web designer. People knew I was going to do digital marketing. People knew I was going to do podcasting, apparently. Who the hell knew this? I didn't. I guess I had a kind of destined track. And I'm not a spiritual religious guy by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is all a fluke. But I think it's kind of neat that there might have been a track that I'm following subconsciously of like, this is creative. This is very much my right brain, because my left brain doesn't do anything. My left brain's sitting there drinking beer all the time. It doesn't do anything. I'm very right-brained, and it's just like, what's creative? This sounds like fun. I want to try this. I want to try this. I want to try that. I've dipped my toe in AI a little bit. It's a little much for me. So I don't think anyone's going to think, I don't think anyone's going to say to me, you're going to be a prompt engineer. I mean, I make a lot of money doing that, but but podcasting, you kind of, and web design, you're kind of in the AI space. Like, it's kind of ancillary. It's not a whole nother medium. But ultimately, it's been a fun ride. I did social media addicts for a while. I did addicted to social media, which turns out the website was actually a perfume company in Saudi Arabia before I bought the domain name.
Wow.
Wayback Machine. I love it. You always look up your domain names before you buy them, because every once in a while you'll be surprised what they were beforehand.
Interesting.
Especially the .coms. These dot whatevers are different now. So
I never thought about that perspective, and I own a whole cadre of
we know what Annika's doing tomorrow.
websites that I'm like, someday I'll get to that project, but that's
I'm like that too.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm slowly dropping them because it's like, I'm never going to do anything with this thing.
I just was thinking about that yesterday when I was walking my dog. I'm like, you know what? It's time to let some stuff go, to leave more space for other things to come in that I want to come in. Yeah. But let's talk about podcasting. So you've had 6 or 7, and I want to flag that, and I want to hear about that journey, because I think people have a misconception. Well, number one, they think, oh, the market's saturated, which we know it's not.
It isn't.
And then number 2,
but there's always room for more. I feel like it is saturated for the top level.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. You don't need to be a top level podcaster. You need to be for your industry.
Exactly.
And you'll be in the top in your industry. You'll be top in the business you'll be in business. Let's say you're doing business podcasts. You'll be in the business subsection of artichokes or whatever. I don't know. And you'll be number 1 in that vertical. Great. Well, those people are looking for the business of artichokes. It's going to be great. So,
but most of the people, I think, who are like us, indie, we're not celebrities who started.
We don't care. We're having fun.
But a lot of us have had multiple, like I hosted a couple podcasts for clients before starting my own, at a radio show before that. So we try different things, just like being an entrepreneur. It's the same concept, right? You're trying different things, and then you get on the one that you're like, this is the one, at least for now.
Exactly. And you try something different. So my big push now is coaching people on how to do how to do podcast production and podcast coaching and stuff like that. I don't want to do the production, but I've been doing it long enough that I want to be able to advise people on, should they be guests on podcasts, or should they start their podcast, or should they be a guest on podcast for a year before they start their own, so they can figure out what voice they want, what voice they want to have.
Yeah.
So I'm starting that. That's another vertical. That's where the vertical is coming in. It's another vertical I'm opening up now as another offering in my agency. It's like I can help people kind of coach them through the mindset thing.
Yeah. Total sidebar. Are you left-handed?
No, I'm right-handed.
Oh, okay.
Remember, my whole left
brain.
My whole left side doesn't want to do anything, including my left hand. My left hand can't do anything.
So, podcasting. What was the first podcast idea that you had?
Something on social media. I think it was addicted to social media. That ran for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then social media addicts was a branched off of that. I took a break for a year. Obviously, I can't do this anymore. Took a break. Was like, I want to do this again. Brought some friends in. This is back like Google Plus. Remember that? Google Plus, Hangouts on Air. So you could start live streaming shows, and it was fun. We did that for a while. Then I did a network of podcasts. I did Insights. It wasn't Insights in Tech. It was Social Media Addict. It was this one did a drone show. It's when drones started. So some other people were on the network as well. There was a nutritionist podcast. I tried to do the network thing, and the PhillyTech.org podcast network. So I did that for about a year and a half. And then I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing? I don't have time for this. I gotta make money.
Yeah.
At that point, I had young son at that point, and I was like, yeah, this is fun, but I need to make money off of this. This is not making money. I just wanted to do a bunch of podcasts. Took a break again, and that you can see that there's breaks. I mean, and then I had digital marketing dive prior to the pandemic. I did, I think, 3 or 4 seasons of that. And neatly, every season had a different co-host with me.
Oh.
Was not planned, but every season the other person would say, I'm done after this for the season, the 30 or 40 episodes, they kind of get pod feed. So it's all right, you can move on. I wanted to do another season after a few weeks. I grabbed another host that we could run with it. Then I think that ended, and I'm on now on Marketing Podcast Network, which is run by Jason Falls, who's a big time marketer. And I'm on his network. Yeah, I'll make not a whole lot of money on the ads, but whatever. It adds some legitimacy to my whole game here. And so I had that on the network, and then I was like, I went to Entrepreneur's Enigma. It started out as me just pontificating about my journey. And I'm like, no one wants to listen to this poop. No one wants to listen to me just pontificating. So I was like, so I fell back into the interview space. And so at episode 11, which is now episode 1, because I've lost all of the other ones. I've lost them. The first 10 I have, they're just lost because they're not anywhere online. And they're not going to be anywhere online. They were like, they're rough. And I always tell everyone, like, you just have to get started. You just have to get started, try stuff, be willing to pivot, try some different things, different formats. People will love you for who you are, or they won't, and they won't listen. And then, so at episode 11, I had a friend on, and then we were live streaming it live, and then repurposing it later. And eventually moved from that to recording it because I was like, I don't want it live. I don't want people watching it and now it's splitting the vertical.
Yeah.
Now I just do video and audio because I do it in Squadcast. So it gives me the audio and gives me the video. And I'm like, well, if I had the video, I'm going to throw in Descript and edit the text. It's editing the video anyhow. So I'm like, I might as well put the video up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then Spotify's like, well, we'll take the video. Yeah, take the video. Now Spotify splits it for me.
Yeah.
They give it the video and it gives me audio and video. I'm like, what? This is brilliant. I don't have to do 2 versions of a feed. It feeds it for me. So I have somewhat of a process. I have to get it written down so I can hire a VA.
Yes.
To help me out with stuff. But when I try to write it down, I'm like, my God, it's so fast for me to just do it.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to take me hours to write down and refine what I actually do every Tuesday. Like every Tuesday, I have a set thing. I know I go on, I hit the update button because for some reason I can't figure out how to plug it on the WordPress site. Updates the site when I tell it to, so I always do it manually. And then I paste the YouTube on top, put the transcript from Cast Magic on the bottom, and then just share it out everywhere. That takes me probably 15 minutes. It's going to take me 4.5 hours to write the thread so people can actually do it for them and then do it right. So it's all a learning experience, that kind of fun stuff.
It is. But you could also just record yourself doing it.
Never thought of that. See, I don't have a left brain, so they didn't tell me to do that. That would have been a good idea. Or do a Scribe, scribehow.com does that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
What have been some of the biggest takeaways from your journey into podcasting? It sounds like you prefer interview style, maybe?
Yeah, I like to hear myself talk. I like to hear other people talk. Even though I'm talking a lot now, but like, well, I'm on the other side today. But like, it's always weird to be the interviewee than the interviewer. Like in my podcast, I have 3 questions. Every show has the same 3 questions, but those take 5 minutes. The rest of the show is just me doing my journalism thing. I'm very good at just chewing the fat and getting people to talk about themselves and putting people at ease. And just, I've gotten people saying stuff. I'm like, I'll probably edit that out later. And no one said they killed anyone, but I'm like, certain things I'm like, did you want to say that? Like, afterwards they're like, can you take that out? I'm like, sure, I'll take that out. The other one's why I'm like, I want you to incriminate yourself for the SEC or something like that. No insider trading here, please. Says, but it's fun. But of the things about podcasting that I love, it's a way for me to network and be with people. Okay. I mean, yeah, if I make $300 a month, great. That's fun, extra money on the side. But like my thing is because I have a dispersed team in my agency, I don't get to see people every day. So let me be on your podcast. Son, I'm being to hang out with Annika now. Great, this is awesome. Or I'm doing my podcast too tomorrow. I'm going to be exhausted and not want to talk to anyone for the rest of the night. So it works out.
I would agree with that. It's been the best networking tool because
It's fantastic.
I work from home, I teach virtually, I go to school virtually. So it's a great
You'd
way
be very
to
insular.
connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and you said something that I want to flag and ask you
Oh,
about, which is journalism. Or you use it for your podcast now to ask questions. How has it helped with your other side of your business, the real, right? The money making,
the money
producing
making
side
side.
of
Exactly.
your business, which is your Goldstein Media, which is, your digital marketing firm.
Asking questions for your clients, putting them at ease. The question, once you get through the gauntlet of journalism school, then you get to the gauntlet of actual journalism where you have to relearn everything you learned because everything in journalism school doesn't apply in real life. Nothing in college ever really fully applies. Real life experience is what really, you teach in fundamentals. You teach them how not, they taught me how not to get sued. That's the big libel and actual malice. I can talk about libel law all day long. But ultimately, it's asking questions, sharing my knowledge, saying this is how, also be able to push back and ask more questions. Wait, that didn't make sense. You want me to do what? It's not going to look good. I'm being comfortable pushing back.
Yeah. And I think sometimes our clients need that.
All the time.
So a lot of times when I had my PR firm, I'd get clients who didn't really understand what PR was, what I
Yeah.
would expect of them, or they wanted to go here, but I was trying to explain how being in this space and talking and where you're already an expert will help you get there. But they're like,
Then
no, we don't want to have anything to do with what we're doing now. Or they'd
you're
say,
like, you're just listen to me, darn it.
yeah,
Listen to me.
yeah, yeah. Or they'd have a website, but they didn't have a full brand.
Oh, it's painful to hear.
Well, what do you do with your clients? Because I know you do WordPress websites, and
Yes.
I love WordPress, but I want to hear from you what you like better about WordPress than other sites, Squarespace, etc., Wix, whatever. You handle, SEO, digital advertising, social. So a little bit of a
Yeah.
sprinkling for the digital ecosystem.
Yes. I'm like one of those jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, I'm a master of certain things within those little trades.
And
So like I mean, I like WordPress mostly because I'm able to like own the platform. Like and also if my clients want to part ways, I can hand them the site and say, go find someone else who does WordPress, which is 48% of the web now. It's 48, almost 50% of the web now. Runs on WordPress, websites. Like there's other things that run other things. I mean, Wix is far behind. It's at the Google of the CMSs out there, and for better or for worse. And I've played on Wix. I have friends that work for Wix. They've sent me like the enterprise plans. They play with, they use it, try to suck me into that ecosystem. It's too easy to make a Wix looking site. It's too easy. I mean, just like it's too easy to make a WordPress looking site. The reason why everything looks like a WordPress site is because it powers so much part of the web. This is why you see it as a WordPress looking site. Wix can either look really good or look really garbage. You can just tell, it's like that thing is not lined up in such a weird way that it's like you click and drag that in the wrong spot. Whereas WordPress is a little bit more harder to pick up, but when you get it, you figure it out, it's brilliant. It just works. And it's also really SEOable, which I hear people on Wix say, so it's Wix. And then not when I was back a few years ago, they had a hash bang. They had between pages, they would root domain name, then a hashtag / and it like screwed their SEO. They finally got rid of that now. But for the longest time, you couldn't index a Wix website very well.
wow.
So this is another reason I had a big thing against them. Squarespace is too simplistic for me. People can fight with it to get to where they need to go, but like, why should you have to fight with it?
Right.
Let's go to WordPress. As far as SEO goes, that was a natural progression for me. Well, I have a website now. Now what? So then I had this kind of a cute little story. I had this cute little old Jewish doctor from North Philadelphia reach out to me saying he wanted to teach me WordPress, not WordPress, SEO. The guy looks like Ziggy with hair. If anyone knows Ziggy the comic, and he goes by Ziggy. I call him Ziggy.
Okay.
His name's Arnold Katz. Love him to death. But he, went by Zig because he looked like Ziggy with a really good hair, a big mop of gray hair. And so he taught me, at least back then, everything there was to know about SEO. Passed the torch because his kids didn't want to learn it. He's like, well, I want to find a kid who wants to do it. for this nice Jewish boy to help, and we worked together for a while. He now fully retired, and he's now living his best life playing with grandkids, not worrying about the algorithm. So did that, and that moved into digital strategy. It's kind of progressed.
Yeah. And what do you see as the biggest changes? Because on one hand, you hear SEO, well, and I know it changes often, but you hear about a video SEO, right? And we know that TikTok is a big search engine for the younger demographics. And
that's bizarre to me. It's bizarre to me that it's a search engine. It's a content play that's into a search engine. I'm like, that's okay. Whatever floats the boat. But I'm like, honestly, AI is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
AI is everything on its head. I don't think it's going to replace people unless they don't evolve. Darwin, essentially. I don't think it's going to hurt people per se. It's going to just make you have to think differently. You're actually talking complete sentences now instead of keywords. You might the whole idea of talking to ChatGPT. Hey, I want something that looks like this. Hey, can you help me with this? I'm trying to make this into this. I would never ask Google, can you help me with this? I say, how to do this. How to was always a big keyword thing. You could do how to anything, and you'd show up in Google top of the list. It loves how to's or top 10 lists. It loves all that stuff. Now it's Gemini and all that. But with AI, you talk with it colloquially, like a friend, and it shoots stuff back to you, and you have to check it. It does hallucinate, and sometimes gloriously, it's like on something. It's like, did you smoke weed with Elon or something like that? Like, what? Where did you come up with that? That's not true.
The funny thing is, I don't really use chat anymore. Because I love Claude Sonnet so much.
Oh, so good, yeah.
But I find myself saying thank you after.
Oh yeah, and it always
really
like
good. And I'm like, why am I thanking my AI tool?
It's so different way of thinking now.
Yeah.
And in the search, it's going to be different, and it's going to be different forever. Will Google listings still be here next week? Possibly. Next month, most likely. In a year, who the hell knows? Like literally, AI is going faster than Bitcoin ever did, and it's not going anywhere. Where Bitcoin went bye-bye. Yeah. But it's still here, grasping at straws. The whole crypto world. But remember, like the Bored Apes? Like, what the hell are they now?
Yeah. I think maybe it'll make a little resurgence, but we all have to know. To your point, it's not going to take away and replace all jobs. But if you don't understand how to use AI tools to make your workflows easier and to help ideate, you still need the strategist, the creative voice.
Yeah.
You
need the thing between the two eyes. Yeah. Absolutely. You need that brain. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, what about social media? One of the questions that you so kindly sent to me was about distributing across rented media.
Yeah. So that's a big bugaboo from me. Is that you need to have your own blog. You need to have a place where you hold your stuff.
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn will say, I don't like you today, and kick you off for 4 days.
Yeah.
Like Facebook can kick you off if you forbid you to show yourself breastfeeding. Like, God forbid. Cry me a river. It's natural. Stop it. Like, God forbid you. It's bizarre. And when you think about it, rented media is great. It's a great place to get your content out and distribute it to the masses. It's not a place where you need to keep your stuff solely there. You need to keep yourself, at least if you're not going to put it on a blog somewhere, keep it safe in your desktop or in a hard drive somewhere, because you're going to have to put it back up sometime. It's going to happen to everybody.
I am a firm believer in the peso models, the paid, earned, shared, and owned. And I always try to tell my students and clients, you use rented, I use shared. You do not own this. If everything went away tomorrow, do you have backups of everything that you've ever posted?
Oh, and you have to repost it all. Oh,
if Meta went away tomorrow, you don't have access to all of those followers and people unless you've converted them to your newsletter, right? To your website. Yeah.
That's and that great minds think alike, because honestly, newsletters are huge now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Substack. I have my own issues with Substack. I'm sure if you follow me, you know where I stand on Substack. But because of them, now stuff like Ghost.org and WordPress all have newsletter elements you can add in, and it's brilliant. I have Marketing Junto, which is my weekly I have so much time in the world. I do a weekly newsletter too. Jeez, but and it's crazy. But I now have my people.
how do you find the time? Because
I
I will
don't.
say my social media, well, is all over the place because my personal account was, uh,
Huh.
is a certain thing. But then if I post other stuff, it doesn't get resonate, and I kind of like let it like fall behind. But then newsletter, I aspire to have a weekly
Yeah.
newsletter, but I just can't get there. So what do you say for the person who's trying to do all the things, might have a small team? How do they focus and how can they create better workflows and work streams?
Well, don't start weekly. That's for sure. Do a monthly newsletter.
Okay.
Try and get yourself going with that, or a monthly with a bonus when you have a thought
Mm.
to share. Like, don't start off micro, start off macro. At the very, college terms. But like, think macro. Think like, all right, I'm gonna have enough stuff by the end of the month that I might actually be able to put out two issues this month. Other months you might be so busy running around that you might be going back to campus to do your in-person MBA stuff. You may not have time, but you're like, like, all right, I'm not gonna have time to something to do two. I'll have enough time to do one because I committed to at least one. People are expecting one. They're excited when you get two.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really great perspective.
It happens from time to time with me.
Where do you think everything's going to be going? Because I've heard that maybe we won't have websites, it'll all be app based, right? In the
Oh, God,
future.
it's not going to be app based.
Okay.
People are over the apps. People want a website that shrinks to your phone. It could be a progressive web app. You want to add this to your apps?
Mm.
Great, you can do that. But let's look at the App Store and all the baloney that happens there. Like the 30%, like, come on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get you have to maintain your store, but 30%? What are you gonna do? What, you need to sell for me too?
Mm.
No. Like, and you're not worth 30% in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have a choice.
Where do you think websites, social media, all of the things that you work on and are expert in, what are some of your ideas of the future?
I think AI is going to turn us upside down. I think AI is going to make things very interesting, very fast, very soon.
Hmm.
I think that AI might start making a website that might be able to, well, it can now make a basic website. But is that where you stop? No. That's where you start.
Yeah.
So it might help me iterate faster, get past that first stage of my client's journey with me to get them to the basics of a wireframe. But then I'm going to have to add my flair and add their personality. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of sameness.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I think I also, though, see a lot of people doing that, just putting out generic material because
Oh,
it's
it's
faster,
awful.
because they're like, oh, I can do so much more with AI, but then they're not putting their own voice.
Kills me. It kills me. And also check the damn AI.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, seriously, this thing puts some weird stuff out there sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you're an expert in this, you should be able to catch it pretty fast.
Right.
And if you're not, maybe you shouldn't be asking those questions of AI unless you know what it should be saying. Just a thought.
I know another topic that I haven't brought up on the podcast recently, but I've talked about in my classes, and I saw you just did a blog about it a bit ago, was there's been this whole thing about Google depreciating cookies and third-party cookies going away. And then they're like, psych. I mean,
I hate
myself.
Google.
But
I know, but I hate Google so much for that.
Yeah.
So everyone's dying, like, oh my God, we're going to lose cookies. And they're like, no. And we're
but
like,
everybody's
well,
had
we
to
don't
pivot their
trust you.
strategies in the last couple of years.
I wouldn't trust Google. And because with Google Chrome, it's going to put everyone in the non-cookie version, and that's your okay cookies. So it's still not it's a still third-party cookieless world still, with potential to get third-party data, because they're saying, hey, would you be okay with having this tracked? Like my iPhone asks, my Android never asks, can I be tracked? It's always like, yeah, I'm just going to track you, and I was fine with it. I'm fine with it if I don't know, like, I'm the product, great. I would prefer relevant ads to me than non-relevant ads. Like, I don't need things about pantyhose.
Right.
Show me stuff about like cool gadgets and stuff. And yeah, you'll get me to buy, unfortunately. But ultimately, with the iPhone, it says, will you let us track you? I'm like, no, don't ask me. Because I'm going to say no every single time because I don't want to be tracked if you're letting me know you're tracking me. And I appreciate that. It's like, there goes my third-party data. Somehow, Facebook still finds out a lot. My Instagram feed is full of cool stuff. It's ads. I still know I'm saying no to this stuff, but somehow it's still listening.
Yeah, always. So if not Google and Chrome, do you think people should go to Safari, to Bing?
I think that people should spread their information out. Yeah. Don't just use Google. Use Bing a little bit. Give them some data. Give DuckDuckGo some. Well, DuckDuckGo supposedly doesn't take your data, but like use DuckDuckGo when you want some stuff more private. Use Safari. Use different browsers for different things. But like use Meta. Use TikTok. Use all these things to share your data because your data is out there.
Yeah.
And then you go online. I mean, then you're born. Your data is out there. You get social. At least in the United States, you get a social security number. That's already been stolen. Then you're born. Like, let's forget about it. Like it's already gone. It's already on the dark web. Joe was just born. His SS number is already gone. It's like, oh crap. Whether or not it's used or not is something else.
Right. Do you have an ideal avatar for your clients?
I wish I did. I wish I did. They're usually small and mid-sized companies that want to get found online, have a kind of an idea, but are completely lost at the same time.
Yeah.
And I can kind of help them guide them through the jungle of sorts.
Nice.
That was the analogy.
You said that very eloquently. Yeah, you're going to have to take some of the words from this podcast episode.
I know. I'm going to have to farm this.
Gems.
Put this in AI and see what it comes up with.
Right. Well, I will be putting it through AI, so I can, and we will be sharing that with you. So.
Oh, I love it. Can't wait.
Yeah, so you will get that. And how do clients find you? Is it primarily
everywhere online? Literally. No. But then you can go to goldsteinmedia.com. You can go to entrepreneursenigma.com. You can go to marketingjunto.com and sign up for my newsletter, which I promise I don't spam. It's just good content. But you can always find me on LinkedIn. I'm Seth Goldstein, and there's one more famous Seth Goldstein out there that is an angel investor. He usually comes up in May. I mean, there's a Pittsburgh. I mean, have you ever looked at the Annika Jackson? I'm sure there's others out there, but I'm sure you probably dominate it. But then there's other people down there that kind of like, oh, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's a Carnegie Mellon professor. There's a lot of lawyers. What a shocker. There's a lot of Seth Goldstein lawyers.
Amazing. And Seth, I want to ask, do you have a favorite quote or a mantra?
Just keep going. I don't know where it came from, but just keep going. Like, literally just get started, fail fast. I mean, there's a bunch of mantras apparently, but literally, just keep going. Like this, like when you hear, especially when you're with a podcast, it's going to suck. The first episodes, I'm sure of yours were like, oh, this is brutal, but still publish it. Put it out there. Then people are going to listen to it and cringe. But the next one out, it's going to be better, less cringeable, more bingeable, more cringeable, less cringeable, more bingeable. It's never. But honestly, just keep going and just have fun with it.
And do you have a final statement, a final word of wisdom beyond the quote that I asked you for?
Connect with me if you dare. I'm very prolific.
Okay.
Actually, please connect. Don't dare. Just connect with me. I love people to connect with me and to say you heard me on this show. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love our meandering.
I love it. I love these. I love these. I feel bad for your editor, but like I don't even edit Entrepreneur's Enigma. I don't really edit. If I know there's a gaffe, I'll go back and find it.
Exactly.
I'll make a note right after the call to edit it. But otherwise, I'm like, it's just is what it is.
Same. Yeah,
it's fun.
There's very little that needs to be edited. It's if somebody's not used to speaking, but I rarely get those types of people nowadays.
And all you have to tell people is not NPR. We're not Terry Gross. I mean, you're the closest I've gotten to a Terry Gross. You're that good. I think you're that good, but you're not. It's not Terry Gross. It's not. It shouldn't be buttoned up. It should be fun, meandering. People listen for 45, 50 minutes, like because they want to, and they're probably vacuuming, half hearing what we're saying anyhow. So.
Well, I'll ask you one last question. If there's something somebody needs to really pay attention to in the world of digital AI, podcasting, any of those, what are like your top 2 or 3 pieces of advice?
Read a lot. Follow the blog, follow VentureBeat, follow TechCrunch, follow the AI Inside podcast. There's all these podcasts, all these shows out there, but be immersed. If this is your industry, immerse yourself in it. Because even if you're not going to go into it fully, you should at least know what the heck's going on, so you're not left behind.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This has been really fun.
Oh, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, and I can't wait to have offline conversations or off-air conversations with
Oh,
you
we'll
and
stay in
see
touch.
what we
Yeah,
can do
this will be fun.
together.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks for having
Thank
me on.
Of course. And thank you to everybody who's listening or watching this episode. I'll be back again in a couple days with another amazing guest to share their journey, their story, and their fun facts with you. Thanks for listening or watching to this episode of Your Brand Amplified. Don't forget to leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcast listening platform. And if you want to learn more, check us out at yourbrandamplified.com.